said goodbye to his four-legged friend. And took off with the cowpoke for the nearest ranch. Even though he soon started dressing right, acting like a human wasn't easy for Pecos Bill. He still had some old furry habits. Some of the mean cowpokes joked that Bill wore a $10 hat and a 5-cent head. One night at the campfire, Pecos Bill overheard some ranch hands talking.
Yep, them fellas are more animal than they are human. Yep, it's been the toughest bunch I ever came across. Yep, and they back their tails and hat for fun. Who are these fellas? The Rowdy Ranger gang. The mangiest, meanest, most slow-down, low bunch of varmints I ever ran. Sounds like my kind of folks.
Before anyone could holler whoa, Pecos Bill took off on his horse to find the Rowdy Ranger gang. He hadn't gone too far before disaster struck. His horse stepped in a hole and broke its ankle.
Dang it. I guess I'm going to have to carry a poor fella.
After he walked about 100 miles, Pecos heard some mean rattling.
Stop it, you scaly-hearted fool. Hey, fella, I like this spunk. Come with us.
After Bill hacked another 100 miles with a horse on his neck and a snake on his arm, he heard a terrible growl.
Don't jump, you mangy bobtail silly back. Uncle. Come on, you big silly. You're more like me than most humans I meet.
So Pecos Bill gathered up the big cat, the horse, and the rattlesnake, and the four of them headed on their journey. With mountain lions screeching, the horse neighing, and the snake rattling. They made quite a noise. The rangers didn't know what to think of it.
What's that racket? I don't know, but I don't like it. I'm shaking all over, even my spurs are shaking. Howdy, boys. Who's boss around here? Stranger I was, but from now on, it'll be you. Well, thank you, partner. You get on with your dinner, gentlemen. Don't let me interrupt. Why, thank you.
Once Pecos Bill settled down with the Rowdy Ranger gang, his true genius revealed itself. With his gang's help, he put together the biggest ranch in the Southwest. He used New Mexico as a corral and Arizona as a pasture. He invented tarantulas and scorpions as practical jokes. He also invented roping. Some say his rope was exactly as long as the equator. Others argue it was 2 feet shorter.
Part 3. How Pecos Bill saved Texas.
Things were going fine for Pecos Bill until Texas began to suffer the worst drought in history. It was so dry that all the rivers turned as powdery as biscuit flour. The parched grass was catching fire everywhere. For a while, Bill and his gang managed to lasso water from the Rio Grande. When that dried up, they lassoed water from the Gulf of Mexico. No matter what he did, though, Pecos Bill couldn't get enough water to stay ahead of the drought. All of his horses and cows were starting to dry up and blow away like balls of tumbleweed. It was awful. Just when the end seemed near, the The sky turned a shade of deep purple. From the distant mountains came a great roar. A huge swell of a cyclone appeared, heading straight for Bill's ranch. Once Bill had grabbed the cyclone by the ears and pulled himself off the river back, he headed straight for Texas. The mighty cyclone bucked, arched, and screamed like a wild bronco. But Pecos Bill just held on with his legs and used his strong hands to wring the rain out of her wind. He wrung out rain that flooded all of Texas until finally he slid off the shriveled up funnel and let it fall into California.
Well, that little water should hold things in for a while.
The earth sank about 200 feet below sea level in the spot where Bill landed, creating the area known today as Death Valley. Part 4.
How Pecos Bill found his true love.
After his cyclone ride, no horse was too wild for Pecos Bill. Not even the wildest, most famous black stallion that terrorized all of Texas. That horse was as tough as a tiger and as crazy as a streak of lightning. Pecos Bill jumped on the back of that wild steed and made him his own. Nobody could ride him but Bill. He named the stallion Widowmaker and raced him on barbed wire and dynamite. And believe me, those two were made for each other. Wherever they rode together, they backflipped and somersaulted all over Texas. One day, when Pecos Bill and Widowmaker were bouncing around the Pecos River, they came across an awesome sight. A wild-looking woman riding on the back of the biggest catfish you'll ever lay eyes on. The lady looked like she was having a ball, screeching all the while,
Ride 'em, cowgirl. Yippee! What's your name? Slewfoot Sue. What's it to you?
Then she war-whooped away over the windy water. Thereafter, all Pecos Bill could think of was Slewfoot Sue. He spent more and more time away from the Rowdy Ranger gang as he wandered the barren Catalans looking for her. When he finally found her, she was out having a picnic, sipping cider through a straw. Poor Bill was so smitten he reverted back to his old coyote ways. He began a howling and a hooing to Slewfoot Sue in coyote song.
The prettiest girl
The prettiest girl
I ever saw
I ever saw
was sipping sun.
was sipping cider through a straw.
The prettiest
Girl I ever saw was sipping cider through a straw. Doodling ha-ha, yippee-ki-yay.
Well, the good news is that Sue had a bit of coyote in her too, so she completely understood Bill's language. She threw her head back and howled, which meant that she liked him too. And that is how Pecos Bill met his true love, Slewfoot